everybody, welcome to my channel, The Pink Cadillac. I am so happy you're here. One of the many things I love about October is the fact that it is my birthday, and October 17th I will turn 30 years old. This is a big milestone for a lot of people. I think it's one of those things, you're becoming an adult, you're growing up, you're supposed to have things figured out, and I definitely have a few things figured out, but not a lot. So I wanted to make this video to just kind of share with you the 30 things I've learned throughout my time here, and hopefully you guys can relate to some of these lessons. I don't want it to be kind of preachy and like, you know, I just want to share with you guys and really reflect on the time that I've had and where I am and what I've learned. I think it's, as is anybody in this time of their lives, they can't help but look back and think of what went wrong, what went right, how they've grown as a person. So really this is just a video to kind of reflect and document kind of those lessons, and hopefully you can learn something and you know, share with me what you've learned as well. I think I want this to be kind of a dialogue between everybody here, to really share what they've learned and what they've been through. So I have my handy dandy list. So I promise not to go into too much depth about all of these because again, there's 30, so this might take a minute. But the first thing I learned is that size does not matter. I used to think if only I was a size 4, I could have everything and life will be perfect. Well, guess what? Let me tell you, size has nothing to do with your happiness and so much to do with just you being absolutely you. I remember being miserable, going on diets and really desperately trying to be a size that I knew I would never was going to be. My body was just not meant to be a size 4. And so there's just nothing to that. I think the more time you waste on wishing you were a certain size, the more time you are missing out on truly embracing the size that you are. And it's not even about size. It's regardless of how much you weigh or your size, it's truly just embracing who you are, because who you are is truly unique. So, who cares? The number 2 is who cares what anyone else thinks. I think I've spent a lot of my 20s worried about what everyone thinks. Will I be good enough? Will they like me? And it doesn't matter. I think that is, again, time wasted, where you just need to focus on what you are truly doing, what you believe, what is important to you. So don't care. I know it's hard not to do, but just don't think about it. I think people are more often concerned with what they're going through, so they're not even thinking about you. So forget it. And number 3, so I've had a lot of jobs throughout my career in the retail industry, but your job does not define you. It is not who you are as a person. I think, and I'm guilty of that. A lot of the times I will ask someone, you know, what do you do? And I will, you know, make an assumption based on their career choice that they are a certain way. And I think you are, outside of your job, a whole different person, and that's what makes you you, not necessarily what you do. Sometimes, you know, you definitely can correlate your personality to what you do, and it helps to define you, but it is not absolutely you in a nutshell. So there doesn't need to be so much relevance and importance put on what you do. I think a lot of the time I've read a lot about certain, you know, important figures that they had to take a job to be creative, to do the things that they wanted to do, and to make it all work. So it doesn't, you know, Einstein, I think, did a lot of desk filing jobs, and it was a lot at night, so he had time to write and work on his theories. And if he let his job kind of define who he was, he wouldn't necessarily have invested so much in his outside loves and interests. So anyway, that's kind of what I mean by that one. Number 4 is be healthy. I think that's something I always thought, like, I want it all. I want to have my cake and eat it too. But I think that there needs to be that balance, and being healthy and feeling really good is very important. Number 5 is take time to relax. So this is really key. I think as a woman, we give so much of ourselves to others, and I think just anybody needs time out of their day and carving out moments to really just relax and just be, and to not worry about anything, and to just be totally in tune with your body and what it needs, and take a few minutes to decompress. Number 6 is say no. Again, I was worried so much about what people thought, and if I said no, what would they think? And I spent a lot of time doing things I didn't want to do, and a lot of anxiety came with that. And so just really being true to, no, I don't want to do that, or I just no, just say it and just be with it and embrace it, and do it in a way that feels right to you. You don't have to always just say no. You say, thank you so much for your invite, but at this time, I don't think that's going to work, or I'm super busy. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and whatever feels right for you, and your life, just say it. Just say no. Make time for yourself, like I said, and honor what you need. And 7, give back to others. I think that's really key. Volunteering. I was a volunteer volleyball coach, and I also did girls leadership, and gave back to charities. I did a comedy show where all the money went to Girls on the Run. So just taking time and really giving back to those who really need it, and offering that of yourself. It feels so good to give back and to really be there for others. So don't forget that in the midst of everything going on. Number 8 is invest in your friendships. This is something, it's harder as you're an adult and your friends aren't always around you, and calling your friends up, texting them, being with them. That's something I've put a lot of weight into my career and my job, and making it so important that I kind of lost sight of a lot of friendships. And it's really being diligent about being there for someone else and showing up, and not getting so invested in everything you've got going on. And that's something I was really guilty about not calling, not putting in the time, feeling like, well, I do so much for that person. Isn't it time for them to call me? Forget all of that. I think you're 100% responsible for the relationships in your life. And so friendship is huge. That's making those connections and being there for other people. That's really important in life. So friendships. Number 9, be grateful. So one of the daily practices that I've put in place is 5 things I'm grateful for every day. It goes in my notebook, and it's just being really present to things that I have in my life that I think sometimes I overlook, and sometimes it just take a moment to really get how grateful I am for those things and how much I do have in my life. It really puts it in perspective, and having those moments of gratitude allows for more to come into your life. So I think that's a huge thing, just being grateful every day as much as you can for everything around you. And number 10, do things on your own. I think I have had people over the years like, oh, you like to go to restaurants by yourself or go see a movie by yourself. I think it's really important to get to know yourself, to be your own best friend. I think that's huge, to feel comfortable and to just do things on your own, because you shouldn't wait around for other people to do things. And I think it's really important in this journey of self-actualization and independence and knowing yourself before other people can get into your life, and knowing what you like. And yeah, I find a lot of comfort when I'm just by myself and doing things. So don't be afraid to go out and try new things and do it on your own. Number 11 is read. This is something I have tried to be more diligent about, and really going to the library, checking things out, and really just immersing myself into books and making time. Usually at night is when I like to read. Shut off all my devices. I am getting ready for bed, and I take about an hour to kind of dive into a book that I'm loving, and it has really added a lot of value to my day-to-day routine. I think it's great to have that imagination, to read about other things, about fiction, whatever you like. Just, it's really important to make sure to make time to read. I love me some TV, I love me some movies, but there's nothing like a good book. So read, everybody. Number 12 is take time to break from social media. Social media has become such a daily occurrence, minute by minute occurrence in our lives. We get notifications, our phones are glued to our hips. I think as a society, we're losing touch with how to talk one-on-one with people, to have a conversation, to engage. And I have been really conscious of, as I've been more blogging and doing a lot more with YouTube, I am constantly checking my phone. And there are moments where I have to just put it away, turn it off, just don't bring it with me. If I'm going out somewhere and I don't need my phone, don't do it. Don't check your emails constantly. Maybe don't put your email on your phone. I think we really need to break away from these habits that are really altering our brains in ways that they haven't seen. So there are some really cool apps out there kind of, it's called Space. So you can add it to any social media app. So I have it for Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So before you log into those, you kind of like add the app, and then you add a little pathway to your apps with this app, if that makes sense. I don't think I made any sense, but it allows you, so it creates an alternative pathway to your app that allows you, once you kind of log into the app, it'll take a moment, it'll say, take 10 deep breaths, and then it'll log you. Once you've done that, it'll log you to your app. And it's a great way to kind of break that pattern of, like, in a way you kind of become addicted and you like want to log in and see all these things. But it takes a minute to, like, okay, 10 deep breaths, and you come back into yourself, and then you can go into the app, and it just changes my experience a little bit. I find it's a lot easier to stop looking at it. So anyway, I think it's totally fine to not have a Facebook, to not have these things, to not check it every 5 minutes. Don't put the notifications. That's another key thing. So go out and be with people. That's huge. And just be in the world. You don't need Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. It kind of creates an alternative reality that I think is sometimes not healthy for everyone. So number 13 is get proper sleep. So I know for me, I have to have at least 7 hours, if not more, and I can't function. So it's really important to build that into your routine. Sometimes, of course, there's moments where you don't always have to get that sleep, but I think there's more studies that prove that a lot of good sleep just means better things for you and your life. So get that sleep. It's so important. And number 14, this is something I've been working a lot on this year. It's be bold. So it's taking those risks, failing, and, something you've wanted to try, just do it, and stop making excuses. And I think that's been huge. It's just living life in a more out there, more just bold, just like in your face, just taking those risks. And that's why I started this. I had a lot of fear and apprehension into what will people think. It has to be perfect. People hate it. There was just so many things I was telling myself that I shouldn't do this, and I couldn't. And so I had to really let that go and let's just try it, and we'll see what happens. So be bold. You'll find that it's showing up and being like, you're just so much more alive and present in this world. And it's huge. I've learned so much about myself, about just like taking those risks. So, and I think that goes hand in hand with number 15 is don't be afraid to fail. I think some of the times where I took a big risk and I failed, I learned more than if I never risked it at all, if I never even tried it. I think it's really important it's going to suck and failing doesn't feel good, but I think when you look back, you won't regret that you even took that chance, that you did fail, and you're going to learn so much about yourself from your failures. And I think sometimes a lot more than your success. So that's huge. And number 16, don't apologize for being you. I used to say sorry all the freaking time. And I would have to stop myself and I'd be like, no, you weren't even in that guy's way. Like, don't be sorry. You're here. And like, I think sometimes it's like, I'm saying it as a way to kind of like I'm taking up space and like kind of excusing, like dismissing myself as being present and being here on this world. So I think just really watch that, and you don't have to apologize for anything. That if it's really you, if it's what's true to you, just don't be sorry. That's you and your space. You should take up as much space as you need. So don't be sorry. I think it's a huge thing as a woman that I've learned to kind of just say, and you shouldn't get in that routine because there's nothing to be sorry about unless you really did something that warrants it. But yeah, I think you know what I mean, right? Okay. And 17, so embrace what makes you you. I think this is really huge. It might be weird. It might be something that's not accepted or people might not understand it, but that's what makes you you. That's why you're here, and not everyone likes the same thing. And that's okay. That makes perfect sense. A lot of people are like, oh, like you just taste things in your closet. Like, but I like doing it. And I like connecting with people on here and having a space that is me to be totally creative. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, I like a lot of podcasts. I like a lot of listening to a lot of murder things, and not everybody likes that. Not everybody embraces that. And so that's okay. There's a lot of other people who probably feel that way or can connect with you on that. And that's what's so great, is that we're all here to be who we are and connect and really honor who we are. So embrace it, go with it. Like, don't be afraid to share what makes you you. Number 18, we're going on a little different path, but tailor your clothing. This is huge. Not everything that is mass produced, that is in major retail stores, was made to fit everybody. And guess what? Everybody is different, and that's great. That's what we were talking about earlier. So I think this is really huge. Like, get that size up, especially if it's a button-up shirt, or like, don't be afraid of the size. Like, I have bought like 1X, 2X clothes because it's like the sizing is all sorts of crazy, but you have to get it to fit the certain parts of you. Sometimes for my bust, it's like, if it's a button-up shirt, I have to get like 3 sizes up, and then I'll tailor it through the waist to kind of to fit a little bit more to my body, to like shape it in. And that is going to be the key to looking super polished, super put together. So that's huge. Find a good tailor. It is worth every single penny. Or there's a lot of YouTube videos. You can learn how to do it yourself. It's so easy to hem your clothes. Like jeans on my 5'5" frame sometimes are way too long, and I don't want to wear heels all the time. So I always have a jean pair that is for heels and one that's for flats. So hem it to your preference, whatever that is. It should hit like a little bit above the floor, not too much. It shouldn't be dragging, but tailoring is so key to looking super fashionable. 19, call your family, call your grandmas, connect with them. I know life gets super crazy and you might neglect that, but it's so key. Even if you have a conversation for a minute, that is a minute that maybe your family hasn't heard from you. They love you, they care about you, and it just makes a huge difference. So make time, make it a priority in your life. Number 20 is trust your gut. So often I have felt a certain way about in this case, it was a relationship. And so often I just knew something was wrong and I didn't know why. And I neglected my gut, and 3 years went by until I finally said, I'm going to listen to this voice that is telling me that this isn't right. And thank goodness I did, because that got me into a much better space. And I actually feel like I love the person I am today because of that situation. And I trusted myself, and it was exactly what I needed. And I think, deep down, if you just sit with yourself, think about the scenario and what immediately comes up for you, that is what you should do. And that has always helped guide me into situations I'm not sure about. What should I do? That has been so key. Your gut is so important, and it will really help you. So 21 is eat a good breakfast. This is great. This is an essential part for your day. Every time I wake up, really start my day right, eat the right things, my day has gone amazingly. So I think breakfast is the most important meal of the day, whether you have it for breakfast or dinner. It is so good to start your day with just a little bit of something. Helps your metabolism, helps to be healthy. It's so important. Good breakfast is everything. So I love me some breakfast. And 22, positivity is really key. I always say, I've always chosen to look at life in a more positive lens. And I think it has helped tremendously in my outlook and what life has given me in return. I think when you're more positive, you're spreading more good into the world. And I think the universe will kind of see that and like bring it back to you. So kind of what you put out to the world, you'll receive. So there's always a good to every scenario. And I think it just helps switch your perspective. If you are more positive and are more everything, just trying to find those good in every situations. I always like to say in every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. So even when it does seem like there's nothing good in this scenario, look at it in the opposite way. What are you going to learn from this? What is going to be the final outcome? And that has always helped me. I think there's a lot of craziness in the world. There's a lot that you can choose to be sad about, and you can, like, definitely there are moments I am super not positive, but I choose to be positive because it's so much easier to be happy to choose the positive than the negative. I find when I go to that place, it's really hard to get out of it, and it doesn't lead to many good things. It's kind of like a spiral effect. So people who know me know, like, I'm always happy. I'm always like, but I choose to be that way because it's just a lot more fun. It's a lot easier, if that makes sense. And yeah, and I definitely, I'm not perfect. There's definitely moments where I'm not happy, and that's totally okay too. But I know in the past, every time I've chosen to turn the situation around, to be more positive consciously, it has led to better things. So, number 23 is laugh. I think this goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier. When you are positive, every situation, I think there's something to laugh about, and there's something, as I've done stand up and as I've talked about like these horrible situations, like breakups, losing your job, like all of these things that I've dealt with, every time I've chosen to kind of look at the bright side and to laugh about it, even at myself, I think it's been so important in the process of healing. I think that laughter is it is that best medicine, like they say. And it's so vital to, maintaining your sanity, and just laugh. It makes you feel so much better. 24. So this goes hand in hand with the first one we talked about. So don't wait to be a certain size to do things. I remember I was training for a half marathon, and I thought, I can't do this now. I'm too overweight. I'm like the heaviest I've ever been. Like, why would I be good at running? And I think I have that dialogue with myself a lot. How can I be in the fashion industry when I'm this certain size? Or how could I be this? I need to lose more weight to do that. And that's absolutely false. I think, life is waiting for you, and it doesn't have you're a size 12, like you can't do that yet. I remember training, and I put dedicated time into training for that half marathon, and I did it, and it was absolutely fantastic. I had a wonderful time, and it was a huge lesson for me. Like, I ran that marathon. Granted, I wasn't the fastest. I finished in like 3 hours, but that, to me, the fact that I did it, I set out to do it and I did it, was key. yeah, life isn't gonna wait for you. You have to just do it. And I think no one tells you there's these boundaries, that there's these certain sizes to do anything. That's made up in our minds and by society. So don't listen to that BS. Number 25, so be present. So often I find I'm trying to just hustle through my day and get everything done, but really just being with the people around you, just letting the thoughts and the anxiety go and just being present in the moment is so key. Slowing down, honoring, like, I think so often I would eat lunch at my desk and like, why? Like, take 10 minutes, go sit with your coworkers in the break room or just sit by yourself, have no distractions, and just like be with your salad. It's so weird, but it really helps. And just like honoring every bite and like, oh, just like not rushing through it and being like, oh my gosh, like this is really good. Like, oh, this dressing, like I find when I do that, I am just so much more in awe and in gratitude of the daily blessings like life gives us. Life is a present and you have to open it. And like, so being present really helps with that. So I think it's just really key. I think in this fast-paced society and just how we view our day-to-day, just like go, 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 multitasking and all of that stuff, it doesn't lead to good things. I think we let our life go by without even acknowledging the moments that make up our life. So be present. And 26 is treat yourself. My favorite Parks and Rec episode was when they treat themselves. Treat yourself. When they just had a day and they do everything to kind of treat themselves. I think it's really important to, you know, give yourself little rewards for getting through something. And, you know, in the past that used to be a lot of food for me, but it doesn't have to be food. It can, you know, a bubble bath, like going out and seeing a special movie that you've been waiting for. There's little things to reward yourself for these moments in our lives and for getting through things or for accomplishing something you've always wanted to do. I remember when I first tried stand-up and I just remember like it was huge. I was so proud of myself and for just doing something out of my comfort zone. And I remember going out with friends and I treated myself to, you know, a special drink or something that really means something for you that you can really indulge in or feel like you're taking care of yourself. That's really huge, to really honor that and to give those little gifts for yourself. And it doesn't have to be things. It can be trips. It can be, and it doesn't have to be things. It can be very little things. You know, you reward yourself with some creative moments by painting, by doing whatever it means to you to relax and to rejuvenate and to give yourself a little reward. So whatever that means to you, it's so important to do it weekly, daily, monthly, whatever you feel like you deserve. So whatever you feel like. Number 27 is forgive. I think this is such an important part of our lives. I think there are a lot of things that I held on to for a lot of years and felt like I was wronged and how could this happen to me and why do we hold on to that for ourselves? It doesn't make any sense, and it's just going to be this burden and this shadow that follows us. So as hard as it is, as complicated as it is, I think it's really important to acknowledge where you fit in, what happened, and to let it go and to say sorry and to move on and forgive. I think there's nothing that is telling us we need to hold on to it and carry it and have this burden weighing on us. We can truly learn to forgive. And I think it's so important. 28 is trying a new skill. So like I said, I tried stand-up comedy and that was huge. I've always wanted to try it, and I did, and it was huge. And there's lots of other skills. I think this is important to your, every month maybe learn something new. I wanted to learn watercolor, and I did that, and how to drive manual right now. And so that's something I've always wanted to learn in case there's an emergency or something happens, or you're on or you're on a show and maybe you got to drive a car and it's manual and you don't know. Huge lesson, huge skill. I think there's so important to like learning more about yourself, like through doing something new and challenging yourself and growing as a person. So learning a new skill is so important. 29, surround yourself with people who inspire you. I think this is so key. This is having the group of people around you that kind of like motivate you and you're kind of in awe of what they're doing and whatever inspires you. I think people who are up to things, who are doing things that you want to do, having that energy around you is only going to translate to good things for you. It's going to rub off on you, and being around that energy is just going to inspire you. So I think that's really key, is to have those kind of people around you and to really be conscious of making those decisions of friends that are going to add value to your life, who do inspire you. Number 30. This one is really getting comfortable, not saying no, but like just getting comfortable. I think that's really key with your fear. I think there's no way to say you can be gone with your fears forever, because that doesn't exist. I think to me, it's living with your fear, being comfortable, acknowledging it and saying, yeah, okay, I'm very nervous about this, or I have this underlying fear to do this. But it's saying, okay, you're taking that fear with you. Maybe it's like, I imagine it like it's on my shoulder and it's like, okay, that fear is going to be there. It's going to sit on my shoulder, but I am still going to do this thing. And it is saying, I acknowledge you, fear. I know you're going to be there, but you are not going to drive the decisions. I am going to be in charge. You're going to be there, and that's totally fine. I see you. I acknowledge you. You're there. But I'm going to drive this decision. It's like you're in the driver's seat and fear is in the passenger seat. And that's huge. So I think that's really important. I think fear for a lot of years was the reason I didn't do things. I didn't go out and explore, and I spent a lot of time at home and I didn't do anything. And it's acknowledging that and saying, okay, here's what I'm afraid of. Here what might happen. And we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to go out and we're going to have a good time, and just really acknowledging that. Setting your intention, what do you want, and going out and doing it. And living with your fear, like I said, you can't banish it. That doesn't exist. But it's kind of saying, okay, yeah, I'm scared. I don't want to do this. I'm scared of what people think. I'm scared of, blah, blah, blah. But it's still consciously choosing it and doing it. These are the 30 things I've learned. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry it's so long. I went on lots of rants, but thank you for staying with me. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, this has been a huge growth for me, and starting this and being on this journey with you is helped me in so many ways. Thank you so much for being a part of my journey. I will let you know how 30 feels as I celebrate in the next few days. It's so exciting. Happy birthday out there to everyone who has October birthdays. Go Libras. Anyway, as always, be fabulous and utterly you. Thank you for watching. Bye!